everyone, and welcome to Wowza Wednesday. And today we're actually doing more of a technique than building a card as such. This is called carved woodlook technique, and I just loved it, and I needed to make a few thank you cards because we're going to be going away on holiday soon. And so where we're staying, I like to leave a card to say thank you to the staff at the hotels where we stay. So this is what I've been making. So I've made two, and we're going to make another one using the same embossing folder here. This is the Happy Hibiscus Hybrid embossing folder. Oh, that's a mouthful, isn't it? So this is a really easy technique, and I'd love to share it with you. Now, I used here these butterflies. This is from the Butterfly Brilliance, where you get a big stamp, and it stamps about a dozen or half a dozen butterflies. So I've actually stamped them all, and I've cut them out, and oh, excuse me, I've got the hiccups today, and coloured them already. So, but I will show you what I used. So this is what we're going to make, and I will show you what we're going to need. All right, let's pop them on the one side for now. Okay, so we are going to be using, excuse me, happy labels for just a note and thank you. So I'm using that stamp set. I believe this one has actually retired. I'm also using, these are called champagne rhinestones, and I believe they have retired too. And we're going to need 4 stamp pads. So we're going to use, and I've got one of the old ones still, because I don't see the point, while this one's still working really well, to buy a new one. So we're going to be using, from lightest to darkest, crumb cake, pecan pie, early espresso, and then coastal cabana. So they're the stamp sets, stamp pads we're going to be using. I'm also using, and I've already done the embossing, this beautiful embossing embossing folder. You do need a deep emboss folder for this, and this is a 3D one. So, oh, that's what they call them, because it's nice and thick, so you're going to get a nice impression on that. So I've already done that part for you, but I will show you what it looks like in a second. Let me pop that somewhere. Let's put that there. And then these are my parts. So there's my butterfly already done. I used my blends, and I used my light pecan pie, my light pool party because they don't have a coastal cabana, and light crumb cake to do him. And it just looks really lovely, and I did this one very lightly, so but I like the way it's turned out. So for our card, you're going to need a piece of card that is 8 1/4 by 5 7/8. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of card, one for the inside and one for the outside, and the layers, and they are both of those are 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. And then I'm using basic beige for this. You could use very vanilla, but you need something that's in that colour range. So you need 2 pieces again, and they both measure 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. And then for my little saying on the front, this is my piece that I've got here. This is a 1/2 inch by 2 1/4 inches. Okay, so let me show you what we need to do. So I forgot to tell you, you'd also need a punch or something that you can, or a pair of scissors, just to cut your flag if you want a flag end. I think I did a flag end on both of these here, like this, but you don't need to do a flag end. You could just do it on an angle, or just leave it plain flat. Oops, don't pick them up, that's naughty. Alright, so I've got that there too, so let's pop that in the way. Alright, so we've actually embossed our main piece. Let's pop that out. Let's actually start at the beginning. Let's fold our card first. So let's just do that bit first, and then we've done all our folding. So we're going to put this in the long side, and we're going to score this using a small ball at the 4 1/8 mark. Okay, so once we've done that, because we're going to need our board again anyway, so we might as well do that bit first and get that done, and that's ready to go then. Alright, so now we're going to need our piece that we've embossed, and you'll see that the embossing is facing up, but we need to have the debossed side, so we want the main images facing down, so they're dipped. Can you see how I mean that? That side they're all raised and they look beautiful. This side they're all down, and that's the side that we're going to be using. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard once again, and with the images facing downwards, so you can see how they're debossed, we're going to pop this in here, and we're going to score this every 1/2 inch on that same side. So at 1/2 inch with our small ball, 1 inch. This will give you the planks of Woodlook. 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, and the last one is going to be 3 5/8. But that little bit is not enough to make it anything look funny. So once we've done that, we can see that now we have all our bossed lines on the back. So we're going to bring it this way, and we're going to bring in a bit of rubbish stuff or something to put on. So I've got a bit of old card here, and we're going to start by building up our colours on the top of the debossed side. So we're going to start with our crumb cake. So we're going to open our pad up, and we're going to try not to get stuff all over our fingers, and we're going to rub it gently down the side, and as you can see, that gets that lovely debossed look. How gorgeous does that look? Just that one look through it, and you can go over it as many times or as little times as you like. So I would rather go over it once and then work up. So then we're going to use the crumb cake. Now if you don't have Stampin' Up colours, so I'm sorry to hear, that would be awful, because we do love our Stampin' Up products because they are actually good quality. But if not, any dark colours in the brown ranges. So we've got our pecan pie, which is a bit of a more of a rich brown. As you can see, we're going to pop that over the top, and we're happy with that. And then our early espresso, which is a really dark brown. This one you pop it on where you want it. So I would like this side to be a little bit more darker, so I'm going to bring it down the side here and down this side, and then just maybe a little bit down the middle. So it's starting to look like you've carved into the wood or burnt into the wood. Look. Now if you want to build up with the other colours, you can. I might put a bit more of the crumb cake over the top just to give it that look. I like to turn it so that that's better. For me, that's a little bit better. Alright, then we're going to bring in our Coastal Cabana, or this bluey sea greeny colour. And this one, you're going to do it where you think it needs it. Like, I think it just needs a little bit here and there, like so. Just to like give it that oldie woldy look. To me that's probably enough, like so. And to me that just looks fantastic, so let's pop that out of the way. So that just looks really good like that to me. I love the way that looks. So we're going to pop this onto here now. So we're going to pop this onto our layer 1, which is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, And we're going to turn this over and we're going to just glue them together. It's hard to see the glue on this side, on this colour paper. Okay, so got our glue onto there. I'm going to pop this onto here. So you can use any embossing folder you like for this, as long as, if it's words, you're going to have to be careful because they will be the wrong way around, unfortunately. So we've got our piece onto our card. Let's bring in our main card and we'll pop this onto the front of the card. Oops, I'm squishing out of the top of the picture. I like to lay my card flat to put this on. I find that I can line it up a lot better that way. Okay, so we have our piece on the front of our card, and as I say, just make sure that your embossing folder, if you've got a picture on your embossing folder, that it's the right way up. So we're going to do a little bit of stamping on our little pieces here, and I'm going to use Early Espresso, or the darkest ink, and we're just going to put a thank you on the inside of the card. And just a note on the outside. And I'm putting that to the left hand side of that, so that I can actually do my flag end on this end. So I'm going to use my punch as I have it, and it fits in there beautifully because this is the one that will do a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch wide. Just popping it in, making sure that if you're using one of these punches and it's the first time you've used it, or you've been a while, that this lines up nicely into the middle. Pop it out and you have your punched piece like so. Okay, oops, let's get rid of that little bit. We can now glue these pieces together. I thought I had the pin in the top of that and I didn't, and so now I've got glue all over my fingers. Oh dear, I don't know. That wasn't very clever, was it? Okay. Not very clever at all, but never mind. Just goes to prove I'm just as human as the next person. I'm going to stick that into the inside of the card. Now, I'm a person that likes to have layers. If you don't want to have layers, that is completely fine. Just where it says layer 1, just make that your largest layer the lighter colour. So in this case, you would be, if you wanted just that layer and not the other layer underneath, you would make this layer the same size, that one, to just put on there instead. Okay, so we've got this and we've got our little butterfly. So we're just going to use a couple of dimensionals for the back of this. So and one for the back of my butterfly. I'm just going to give his wings a little bit of lift. They're going to flatten a bit because of going into an envelope, but at least they do pop up a bit more. I think this time I'm going to put my just a note down the bottom instead of up the top like I did the others, just to be a little bit different with my butterfly at the top. Get off my finger. My butterfly up the top, just making sure that it doesn't hang off either the sides or the top. And then we will pop on a few of these lovely gems, which are the champagne ones. I'm going to just use these medium-sized ones. So I'll pop that into the middle of that flower, and the middle of that flower there. So that's our Wowza Wednesday project. As I say, it's more of a technique than it is actually a design, card design, but I just thought I loved this idea. I saw it and I've watched a few people make them and I absolutely love them. I think they're gorgeous. I have got some male embossing folders, so I probably will do a couple more before I actually photograph these and put this all up. So if you've enjoyed today's card and you'd like the written tutorial on what to use and which way up to put your embossing folders, head down below here to Die Stamp for stamping, crafting and tutorials. There you'll find my Facebook group, and to join my Facebook group, if you're not a member, you do have to answer the question. Please answer the question, because I don't like to decline you because you haven't done that. But if for some reason you do get declined, doesn't mean you can't join in again. You can go pop back and just answer the question, and we all look forward to seeing you there, and I love having you there. So bye for now.